Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a gearbox conversion on a 2JZ. So we've built this really high horsepower 2JZ, but getting that power to the ground through a manual gearbox is the next hard part. Now there's heaps of options in terms of gearbox. This is the setup that I really like. Now you can go for a factory style R154. If you got heaps of money, you can go for a V160, you can go for a CD09, 8-speed auto. But what we've got here is a TR6060 or a T56. Now these are very popular, they're very common, and they're very cheap for how much horsepower they can hold. Behind a 2J, these are known to hold well over 1,000 horsepower. Now they came stock in Holden Commodores in Australia, in Pontiacs in America, all sorts of Chevys, Corvettes, things like that. So in America, they're very popular. In Australia, they're very popular. They came in Ford Falcons, Holden Commodores, and this being the TR6060 variant, and it'll have plenty of headroom in case we turn it up in the future. Now what I've got here is pretty much all the parts you need to do your TR6060 swap. There's a few parts already in the car, so I'll go over those. And I'll show you what sort of clutch and adapter and fittings and everything that you need to put a TR6060 into your JDM car. In my case, it's a Lexus IS200, but the process is pretty much the same for any Toyota. Nissans are very similar as well. So yeah, let's get into it. So the gearbox we have here is from a Holden Commodore. Now this is from a VE Commodore. They came with two styles of gearbox. So they came with a T56 or they came with a TR6060, which is a little bit stronger. It's got upgraded internals. I think the bearings are a little bit bigger and the synchros are a little bit better. So a TR6060 gearbox, very similar to a T56 Magnum. Only major difference between this and a Magnum is the bearing size and the fact that the TR6060 is remote mount. So this is the shifter that comes in a Holden Commodore, and basically it sits on the gearbox like that and it moves the shifter to the correct position. Now this works really well for conversions because we can make the shifter anywhere we want. All we do is change the size of this rod and that will put the shifter exactly where we want it. Now on the gearbox itself, it's pretty simple. We leave it exactly as it comes from Holden. It's got some sensors on it. It's got a wheel speed sensor, a reverse lockout, and a reverse sensor. There's nothing we need to wire up on it. We're using the wheel speed sensors for wheel speed. Now, in terms of adapting it to a 2JZ, you've got a few options here. Now, for the adapter, what I've got is a steel adapter plate that goes straight onto the TR6060. Then it adapts it to a A340 automatic bell housing. So this is a standard auto bell housing and what would come in like a Supra or a Sora or a Chaser. Now, there's a few different types depending on your clutch package, depends on the bell housing that you get. I think the J1 is the biggest, but for the clutch setup we've got, this J2 housing is gonna work very well. Speaking of clutch package, this is what we've got. The guys over at UniClutch have sent us their new UniClutch track. Now this is one of the best, if not the best clutch on the market. This one is rated at almost 2,000 Newton meters of torque. And being a sealed unit, we can do some cool stuff with the flywheel. So UniClutch have asked me to pimp my flywheel. So here's what I've done. Everyone was painting their flywheels, but we went above and beyond. So I actually hand engraved this flywheel. It's a chromoly flywheel, so it's very light. Now the UniClutch is a little bit heavier than a standard clutch, so we've gone for the chromoly lightened flywheel and just to make everything a bit nicer. So we've done a custom engraving. I'm no pro scroll work guy, I just did this with a die grinder and we've had it polished to a chrome finish. That's gonna be our flywheel. Now, you may be thinking, why have you done that? Your clutch is never gonna engage. Now here's the beauty of the UniClutch. So the UniClutch comes as a package like this, and it's actually a sealed unit. So that's not a friction surface. Flywheel and everything is integrated in here. And the easiest way to think about it, it basically uses your flywheel as an adapter plate to go for the clutch to the flywheel bolts. So you could actually hollow all of this out. You could take all of this weight out and all you need is these bolts on the outside and these bolts in the middle. Now I've also got a slave cylinder. Now this is a standard T56 Commodore slave cylinder. And I've just put a braided remote bleeder on it. So that's gonna let us easily bleed the clutch. If you leave it in the standard spot, it kind of just sticks out around here. So it's very hard to bleed in the car. And then the guys over at UniClutch have sent us some spacers because we're gonna measure up the bell housing, measure up the clutch, and get all the heights right to make sure everything engages properly. Now, if we go to the back of the gearbox, the TR6060 has this 3-bolt output shaft. It's very similar to some of the GM autos like the 4L80 or 4L60. Problem is, adapting this to a standard uni on a tail shaft is a little bit tricky. So what you can get is these billet adapters. Some places sell these for over $400. You can actually just buy them online for about $150. Get yourself this, save yourself some money, or you can just go to your drive shaft shop and they'll supply you one. Now, you don't actually need this if your box didn't come with it, because all it is a rod with a bolt through it. Now, the slave cylinder we have here is standard in a Commodore, but the master cylinder that comes in a Toyota is not the same as a Commodore one. So here's the hack for that. The factory master cylinder would usually have a neck, but that's exactly the same in this setup. We've just deleted the neck because we've got a 4-inch downpipe going in here. So there's a lot of heat and you can actually boil the clutch reservoir, looped it back into the brakes so that they all share the same reservoir. Now the master that this is actually out of a Land Cruiser. I believe the chassis code is FZJ75. Now the good part is that the bolt pattern and the fitting location then everything about it is exactly the same as what's in most Toyotas. So like Supras, Soras, Chasers, IS200s, IS300s, everything like that, we all use the same 2-bolt pattern. So it'll fit straight in, and the only difference is it's got a bigger bore. So the standard bore is 5/8, and this Land Cruiser one is 3/4, which is the same as the T56. This has a great pedal feel and it just works. So on a 2J, the back of the flywheel and the bell housing there's a 0mm offset, so the flywheel actually sits right here. So measuring this is very, very easy. All you need is a straight edge and another measuring device. In my case, I've got a tape measure and a ruler. All we do is put our straight edge across the face and measure to the front of the flywheel. All right, and the measurement we have, 83mm. Now, if you imagine that is bolted to the engine, this is in the gearbox and it's sitting there. No matter what you do, as this goes back and forward, it's never going to engage the clutch. So what we need to do is have it shimmed so it sits like that and crushes the slave a little bit. 14 to 17mm of clutch is a rule of thumb here. So basically, we need to figure out what the height of all this is. Then we need to shim this, so the measurement of the clutch and the flywheel is 14mm more than the first measurement we took. That sounds complicated, but it's very, very easy. Easiest way to measure all that is, instead of measuring it all separately, take your clutch and just sit it on there. So the table is our 0 point. The table is the same as the face of this bell housing. Again, this might not make sense because I'm not great at explaining it, but it will all make sense in a moment. So all you do, take a straight edge, lay it over the top, and then just measure this height. We've got 80mm, and then we need to subtract where our slave is actually gonna sit, which is 7mm. Okay, so 73mm is the height of our clutch assembly. 83mm is the amount of space we have in here. Now, what those measurement means is that our slave cylinder right now is actually 10mm off engaging. So if we assemble everything, the slave won't even touch the clutch and it'll never engage. So what we need to do is shim it forward 10mm. That's gonna get it to touch. And then we need to go another 15mm, and that's gonna engage the slave cylinder so that it moves enough to engage and disengage the clutch. And that's all there is to measuring this. Now, you can also take the bell housing off, put it on the back of the engine and measure it that way, but this way is a lot easier. On a JZ, because everything is flat, this is just the simplest way to do it. Good. Okay, so motor's in. On the underside, I've just made a mount out of some steel. So all it is some fairly thick plate steel that I've welded up. I jacked up the gearbox as high as I could to get the angle as flat as I can, and everything matches up pretty good. We have a good straight line to get our tail shaft made. For the lines, this is our bleeder. It's in a really good spot. Clutch line that goes from our slave up to our master using the factory hard line. Didn't have to massage the tunnel at all. It is very close in some spots, but being a race car, I'm not too concerned if it rubs a little bit. Put a brand new transmission cross member in. If you notice, this is centered, but the gearbox looks like it's on an angle. That's because the adapter kit that we've got actually turns the gearbox. Now all we've got to do is go up here and make a shifter. A little bit hard to see. This here, this rod, is the stock Holden Commodore linkage. And then I've got my E36 shifter with the eyelet at the bottom, and I've just put a bolt, Loctited it, and put some washers in there to space it all out correctly. All right, now this is what it looks like on the inside. Usually the IS200 shifter cutout is about here, but my Hydro is pretty far back to get it in a nice spot because I'm fairly tall. So what I've done is I've actually moved the shifter back, cut a hole in a plate. This is just a cheap E36 shifter, and I've welded it to a plate, bolted the plate into the trans tunnel, and yeah, it works pretty well, shifts pretty good. I don't have the reverse lockout wired up, and it's still fairly easy to get into reverse, so no issues there. That's gonna wrap this video up. Massive thank you to UniClutch for sending that clutch out, and actually won that Pimp My Flywheel competition, so they sent me to Japan, and it was an amazing trip. If you are looking for a new clutch for your car, highly recommend the UniClutch. There's plenty of options, and their support is really, really good. This video did go into the future a little bit, so the next videos will go back and cover the fuel system and plumbing the engine and doing all that stuff. But obviously had to get the engine in the car to show you guys the shifter setup and the gearbox cross member. But yeah, highly recommend the TR6060 UniClutch setup. It drives really well. The clutch feels like a completely stock pedal. Spoiler alert, the car makes about 800 horsepower and the clutch is working very well. Thanks for watching.